On this episode of Delivering Marketing Joy, we'll take a look back at some of the questions that were asked of me this year and see how well I answer them.
How do you balance the time as an entrepreneur between the traditional promotional products business and this video business that you've got that is, I think, so exciting and so compelling, but there's only so many hours in the day. How do you divide the time?
That's a great question. I think that it's so easy in almost any business to be reactive in nature. I think it's really a key, a couple things, I guess I would say. Number one is having a really good team. Sitting beside me right now is Dustin Haywood. He's our lead media specialist. He kind of keeps me in line and helps me, maybe I come up with some kooky idea about doing something, and then he helps me put it together. So he does a lot on the back end and doesn't get a lot of credit for it. Yeah. So having a great team, and then really just proactively scheduling things. I mean, I think so many times we wait for the day to come to us. It is really, I think the biggest thing is just saying, you know what, during this particular time, I'm going to do this and nothing else. I think that, and just taking action. That's the other thing. I think people tend to wait for someone else to do something for them. And, I'm not afraid to look silly. So I just go ahead and give it a shot.
This is something that I personally struggle with. So I wanted to see what an expert like yourself has to say. But you write a lot of content and you write a lot of social media content. And you're always in the forefront of any social trends that are going on. And you're very active. How do you stay relevant when you're out there so much?
Am I relevant?
I think you're relevant.
Okay, well, thank you. I don't really, candidly, I don't really think a lot about staying relevant. I just try to, each day I kind of get up and try and think of different things that are kind of on my mind and just put something out there, so that I'm, I heard recently Gary Vaynerchuk, who I listen to a lot, says that every company should think of themselves as a media company. So in other words, you sell promotional product, you're a media company that sells promotional products. And so from my perspective, I've really taken that to heart. And so every day I get up and go, okay, if I'm a media company that also sells promotional products and does video production and social media, then what would a media company put out? And so I just try to put out things that I think folks will be interested in, and I try to be consistent about it. So that's me.
Good advice.
I'd like to know what you think the top 4 books someone should read if they want to become an entrepreneur.
Okay. So great question. And it's funny. You referenced number 1 for me. The number 1 book that I literally have handed it out probably a dozen times. I'm looking at my bookshelf right now because it's not on there, which means I need to buy it again, is the E-Myth Mastery. I think I have reread that probably a dozen times. And what I like about that book is that every time I reread it, I'm in a different place personally within my business. So I get a different piece of it out of it. So that's number 1. I tell you the book that I really liked that I read relatively recently was The Thank You Economy by Gary Vaynerchuk. Gary's written 3 books, and The Thank You Economy is the one that I think it spoke to me the most. It just talks about how to do business in the current economy, I think, and certainly with social media. The Ultimate Sales Machine by Chet Holmes is a really good one. That's another one I have sitting on my shelf. And then you mentioned 7 Habits. That's a really good one. And then, frankly, I like a lot of things pretty much from Seth Godin. So, honestly, I read a lot, and I think you know that. So there's a lot out there. Let me throw out one more. Epic Content Marketing is a really good one that's out right now. So that's more than you asked for, but those are the things I've been reading here recently. So.
Well, I don't know why you didn't mention Delivering Marketing Joy.
Because I was waiting on you to do that.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Just a plug, shameless plug. You got to plug it in there. Yeah.
All right.